Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at a young lady who, two things really quick before I even play this video, because the sound quality is a little bad. I don't know what's going on. I guess she's in a hotel room and she has an autistic son, so let's be mindful of that and just try to bear with me. I did put subtitles which were AI done, so they may or may not match what she truly said, but I'll let the video play and then we'll break it down afterward. You know what to do. Hit the like, the subscribe, and let's just get into it. I mean, shall we?
And this is what he says. This is what did it for me. I don't know. Y'all are going to be like, sounds right. This is so petty. But I'm sorry. I can't do it after this. I'm sorry. I tried. I'm sorry. This nigga says, and I'm verbatim. This nigga says, don't panic, sweetie. Everything is going to be okay. Sounds right, right? Starting off good. You're doing great. He's letting me know we'll be fine. We can do this. Then this nigga fucks up the whole thing and says, you are a strong, independent black woman who has overcome every obstacle put in front of you. I am immensely proud of your journey and what you have overcome. I was so done. Now let me explain to you why I was so dark. I was like, I don't want to be with him. I can't. Number one, the fuck you mean? Let me explain, because I know you're like, why would you be mad at some shit like that? Because I just said, I needed you to help me. I needed you to help me with my relocation. I have always relied on him to be a friend to me, to be a partner to me. I am not a strong, black, independent woman. I hate that men refer to me as such, because I have never referred to myself as such. And the fact that I have always been fragile, nice, sweet, I've never raised my voice at you, I've always been soft with you. It seems so fucking tone deaf. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always telling him how much I need him around. I am not an independent woman. I am an interdependent woman who needs a partner. I need a husband. Right? I say this from the very beginning. I've been talking to him. I'm like, I'm such a fragile person. I'm extremely delicate, very soft. I need you to, like, be there for me in that way. I need you to be manly. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are things that I'm just not strong enough to accomplish, because I'm not a man. And that I'm not him, I'm not strong, I'm not independent, I'm not none of that shit. And black women hate to be called strong, black, independent women. That's it. Yeah. This shit of you overcome so many obstacles, and I'm like, it did for me. I don't know what. I'm sorry. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I was like, I can't.
So the woman in the video, her name on YouTube is Black Macho. Her previous name, Sansa Ray. I have done a few videos on her. They'll be linked in the description if you want to check out, see what she's about. But the reason I brought this up is because there's a lot to dissect here. Number one, she's a 45-year-old black woman who is currently living in a hotel, who is mother to a son whose father is non-existent in his life. She also has a daughter that has a different father, but that girl is grown. I want to say she's in her early 20s, so she doesn't have to take care of her anymore. So at this point in her life, she's saying, I need a husband. I need a partner. I'm not strong enough to do this on my own. And she was mad at the guy I guess she was dating because he refused to pay for her to move across the country from California to where he lives, his state, Georgia. Now, a relocation can be thousands of dollars. Let's just call it what it is, because you have to move all of your stuff. She doesn't have a vehicle herself, so she would either have to rent a U-Haul or pay movers to move all her things, and of course transit her and her son. Not a inexpensive endeavor, right? The problem is this: you're broke, you are homeless, you want a man to come in and marry you and sweep you off of your feet at 45 years old. That's just not gonna happen. I hate to be the one to bring it and break it down like that, especially because I'm a black woman myself, and some people may be looking like, well, you're a mom and you should be supporting her. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anything bad to happen to this woman. I would love to see her succeed, especially since she has a 7-year-old son who has special needs. Nobody wants to see somebody like that suffer, not by any stretch of the imagination. But she has to be realistic at the end of the day. The older you get, as a woman, your value decreases. The value that a woman typically holds in this life is based upon her physical appearance. And the same really goes for men, but sometimes his value can be perceived as better if he has more money. And I do believe the same goes for women. And so it's like one of those situations where had you been a 45-year-old successful woman, there would be probably some guys more willing to date and marry you because they wouldn't be looking at you as a user. You want somebody, you claim you need a husband because you want somebody to take care of you and your son because you can't financially do it on your own. And at 45, that's shameful. I mean, it just is, because at some point you have made very poor decisions with your time and your money up to this point that you don't have any savings. You don't have anything to rely on, no equity, no credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point at 45 years old, you should be of value. You know what I mean? You should have some type of financial worth. I'm not saying you got to be a millionaire, but you don't want to be homeless and then hoping that someone that you're dating in another state is going to be able to move you and your child. That's just unrealistic thinking. And I think the problem here is that she never grew up like a lot of women do. They refuse to grow up. They hit the wall, which happens somewhere around 35 and 40, where your physical appearance isn't going to get you any wins anymore because there's 20 and 25-year-old girls out there. I mean, just calling it what it is. I'm not a young spring chicken myself. I am 36 years old. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things where I know that guys aren't necessarily looking for a woman to pay for everything. They're not looking for a woman to have a whole bunch of money to take care of them or anything. But if they're going to date someone their own age or someone even a few years older, they would hope that woman will at least be able to bring some value to the table. Just like a woman who's dating an older guy. You're not going to sit there and date a guy 10 years older than you, or even 5 years older than you, or even the same age as you. You know what I'm saying? If I'm dating a guy that's 36, well, I'm not. Obviously, I'm married to someone who is 37, but when me and my husband got together, he was 34 and I was 33. Well, we got married at that age. And I want to say we met each other, you know, a few years before that, maybe in, you know, my early 30s, like 30 or 31. So we knew of each other, and then we got married, you know, by the time I was 33 and he was 34. So it's like one of those things where we both already had a house. We both already had careers established, savings, stock market, you know what I'm saying? So it's like one would say that we were equally yoked in a sense. Maybe he had more, you know, in the stock market, a house that had more value than mine, and a job that did pay slightly higher than mine. But at least he wasn't marrying someone who was broke and homeless and needing him for anything. I was already established in a sense. I was able to take care of myself. I didn't have anyone paying any of my bills when we met. And I certainly wasn't expecting him to take care of me and my daughter that I came to the relationship with. And that's all I'm saying. If you're going to be a woman who's above a certain age, you know, because I'm not speaking for 21, 22, 23-year-old girls. If you're young like that, you're still in school, more than likely. You haven't established a career yet. You're still searching for yourself and searching for your place in this world. And that's why men typically like dating younger women, because they don't have any children yet. And they are still young and have the ability to maneuver and go places because they don't have anything tying them down, like a child, for instance. But when you're 45 and you have a 7-year-old son, clearly, who's going to need help, it just doesn't make any sense for her requirements. Like, you're mad at this man for not wanting to fund your trip and for telling you that you're a strong, independent black woman. In other words, he's telling you, like, you need to be able to do this on your own. You're strong. You got this, you know, and she's saying, I don't. And so she broke up with him because he wasn't willing to pay for her to move across the country. She's just done because he told her that she was a strong, independent black woman. Honey, it sounds like that man didn't care too much about you. So you went 8 years celibate, gave it up to this guy who don't care nothing about you. Because if he did, he might have made a way for you. He might have at the very least, funded half of your journey from California to Georgia. But the fact that he didn't just shows that he didn't care to begin with. He doesn't care if you're in Georgia with him or not, because your importance in his life is just not there. And it's a sad fact. Women hit the wall. They are not financially able to take care of themselves. And then they expect a guy to treat them like they're some young spring chicken and fund them. Guys, they don't mind spending money on younger women. You know what I mean? They just don't. They know what it is, especially a guy who may be around her age, 40s or something. He already knows what it is. A girl in her 20s isn't looking at a 40-something-year-old man to date him because he's cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just not. Like, even if you are an attractive 40 to 45-year-old man, a girl in her 20s isn't looking at you physically. She's looking at you financially. And I want to say the same may go for women. That's why you hear about women getting romance scammed, women who fall in love with younger men having to pay for this, pay for that. When you're an older person dating younger, the only benefit for the younger person is money. Because they're not getting somebody who's on their not on their attractiveness level. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it just makes sense in the circle of life. You know, the older you get, the more established you should be, so that when you come into relationships, you're not a burden at that point. See, people don't mind dealing with a young person who may be quote unquote broke because, first of all, they haven't reached their full potential, so they could possibly end up in a better place, number one. And two, even if they didn't, they have their eye candy, essentially. And men value physical appearance so very much. Maybe this guy who was dating you was at a down point in his life and he figured, hey, why not? I'm not really seeing anyone special. Or maybe he is married and he's just trying to have his fun on the side with you because you're willing to do it. And it excited him, the fact that you were so-called celibate for 8 years. Maybe he just felt special, like being that guy or something. Who the heck knows what goes through men's head? I'm not a man. I really couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that if you don't have the physical attributes that a man likes, you better at least come to the table not broke. You know what I'm saying? Meet the guy halfway. Have something so that he doesn't feel like he's just being used. Like I said, I don't think guys mind being used by younger, cuter girls. But when you're a 45-year-old woman, like, how's that a win? You're cashing out on her? Unless he's in his 60s or 70s, that's not a win. You know, if he's in his prime years and financially able, like, for instance, a Kevin Samuels type of dude who's in his early 50s and doing financially well, he's not looking at a 45-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? He's looking at a girl in her 20s or 30s. And then, even then, if he would date a woman in her 40s or 50s, you best believe she better be stunning, and you best believe she better be on the same financial level as him so that they can build together. That's what couples do when they date of the same age. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can come together, and one of the benefits of it is, well, maybe this person isn't super young, but this person has XYZ, and so we can buy this and that together, and we can travel together, and they can pay half of the trip too, if not more. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's a benefit in it for them too. You can't just be 45 years old. You know what I'm saying? You just can't be that lady. You can't be a 45-year-old baby mama with a special needs son in a hotel looking for somebody to take care of you. Unless you're willing to date somebody who's like old, super old and decrepit, like I said, 65, 70. No offense to anybody who may be around that age, because you're not old and decrepit unless you are. You know what I mean? You may be as old as you feel, you know? But I'm just saying, from a 36-year-old woman's perspective, if a guy that was in his 70s was trying to talk to me, there wouldn't be any appeal there other than if he was rich. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real. Just like a 70-year-old man, you know, is only talking to a 20-something-year-old girl for the sex. He's not talking to her because she's a great companion, because more than likely 20-something-year-old girl is going to be annoying anyway, you know? So people use each other. But at the end of the day, at least if you're gonna be a woman who is older and you're gonna be a single mom, at least have something coming to the table. Like, don't expect somebody to pay your way. At this point, men are looking at you like you're a bum, point blank, period. Because you ain't got no job, no real established career, 401k, no pension, no retirement, no equity in nothing. Heck, ma'am, you don't even have a car. You don't even have an address, a permanent one. You're at a hotel, you know? You can't even make a video that's quiet because your son is in the room. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think. Am I being rude here, or am I just being realistic in this thinking? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, leave me that blue heart. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you next time.